But when Uchenna opened the door, his smile disappeared. There, right in front of them, was Cynthia with another man. They were so engrossed in each other that they didn't notice Uchenna standing at the door. Chinonso and the trumpeter stood behind Uchenna, shocked and speechless. In a beautiful city called Port Harcourt, there lived a man called Uchenna. Uchenna was a tall, handsome young man with a round face and a pointed nose. He was a humble man, very fun to be with, and he had a heart of giving. Uchenna worked in a very big oil company in Port Harcourt, and he was rich. But despite all his good qualities, Uchenna had not been lucky with women. Uchenna's best friend was Chinonso. They were more like brothers and always together. They enjoyed each other's company and shared everything. Chinonso often teased Uchenna about finding the right girl, but Uchenna would just laugh it off, saying, "Maybe someday, my friend." One sunny afternoon, Uchenna decided to go shopping. He needed to pick up a few beverages, so he went to the big shopping mall in the city. As he walked through the path, he noticed a pretty lady standing in front of the beverage section. She was tall and slim, with light skin. Uchenna couldn't help but admire her beauty. "Excuse me," Uchenna said politely. "Could you please pass me that bottle of juice?" The lady turned to him and smiled. "Sure," she said, handing him the bottle. "My name is Cynthia, by the way." "Nice to meet you, Cynthia." "My name is Uchenna," he replied with a warm smile. They started talking and found out that they had a lot in common. They both enjoyed reading, loved going to the beach, and had a passion for helping others. Uchenna felt a connection with Cynthia that he had never felt with anyone else before. "Would you like to join me for a cup of coffee?" Uchenna asked, feeling a bit nervous. Cynthia smiled and nodded. "I would love to." They walked to a nearby cafe and sat down. As they sipped their coffee, they talked about their lives, their dreams, and their families. Uchenna couldn't believe how easy it was to talk to Cynthia. She made him laugh, and he felt comfortable being himself around her. "You know, Uchenna," Cynthia said, "I feel like I have known you forever." "It's strange but nice." "I feel the same way," Uchenna replied. "I have never met anyone like you, Cynthia." Days turned into weeks, and Uchenna and Cynthia continued to spend time together. They went to movies, visited parks, and enjoyed long walks by the beach. Each day, their bond grew stronger, and Uchenna realized that he was falling in love with Cynthia. One evening, as they sat by the beach watching the sunset, Uchenna turned to Cynthia and said, "Cynthia, I have something to tell you. I think I'm falling in love with you." Cynthia looked at him with her big bright eyes. "Uchenna, I feel the same way. I love being with you. You make me so happy." Hearing those words made Uchenna's heart swell with joy. He couldn't believe his luck. Finally, he had found someone who loved him for whom he was. They held hands and watched the sun dip below the horizon, feeling grateful for the chance meeting that had brought them together. Uchenna knew that with Cynthia by his side, his life would be full of happiness and love. From that day on, Uchenna and Cynthia were inseparable. They enjoyed each other's company and supported each other in everything they did. Uchenna's best friend, Chinonso, was thrilled to see his friend so happy. "Looks like you finally found the right girl," Chinonso teased. "Yes, I did," Uchenna replied with a big smile. and I couldn't be happier. And their love story had just begun, and Uchenna couldn't wait to see what the future held for him and Cynthia. A few months later, as Cynthia's birthday was fast approaching, Uchenna told Cynthia that he would be going for a business meeting in Abuja. "Hi babe, I need to tell you something," Uchenna said one evening. "What is it?" Cynthia asked, looking curious. "I have to go to Abuja for a business meeting," Uchenna said. "I will be back by the weekend." Cynthia's face fell. "But my birthday is in 3 days," she said. "You know how much that day means to me. Are you really going to miss it?" "Don't worry, I will make it up to you when I return, okay?" Uchenna said, trying to reassure her. "But it's not fair, Uchenna," Cynthia said, her voice full of disappointment. Unknown to Cynthia, Uchenna had a big surprise planned for her birthday. He and his friend Chinonso had been preparing everything to make it special and romantic. After much convincing, Cynthia reluctantly allowed Uchenna to travel. "I will be back before you know it," Uchenna said, giving her a reassuring hug. A day before Cynthia's birthday, Uchenna booked a trumpeter, a beautiful cake and other lovely gifts for his beloved Cynthia. He wanted her birthday to be perfect and unforgettable. On the other hand, Cynthia decided to invite one of her boyfriends to Uchenna's house since she thought Uchenna wouldn't be around. She wanted to have fun and enjoy herself before Uchenna returned from Abuja. "This will be fun," Cynthia thought to herself as she made the plans. Uchenna will never know. But Cynthia had no idea that Uchenna and Chinonso were already on their way back to Port Harcourt. Uchenna couldn't wait to surprise Cynthia and see the joy in her face. When Uchenna arrived home with all the surprises, he was full of excitement. Chinonso and the trumpeter were right behind him, ready to celebrate. "This is going to be great," Uchenna said, smiling. As they approached the door, Uchenna took a deep breath. "I hope she likes it," he whispered to himself. But when Uchenna opened the door, his smile disappeared. There, right in front of them, was Cynthia with another man. They were so engrossed in each other that they didn't notice Uchenna standing at the door. Chinonso and the trumpeter stood behind Uchenna, shocked and speechless. Uchenna's heart sank as he realized what was happening. "Cynthia!" Uchenna shouted, unable to hide his anger and hurt. Cynthia and the man quickly separated, looking startled and guilty. Cynthia's face turned pale when she saw Uchenna standing there. "Uchenna, I can explain," Cynthia stammered, but Uchenna cut her off. "Explain what, Cynthia?" Uchenna said, his voice trembling with emotion. "How could you do this to me?" Then the man picked up his shoe and ran away. Uchenna asked Cynthia, "Go upstairs, pack your bag, and get a hell out of my house." And that was the end of the relationship. Chinonso stepped forward, putting a hand on Uchenna's shoulder. "Take it easy on yourself, my good friend." Uchenna applied for a little break from the company so he could have time to heal physically and emotionally. He thought that Cynthia was different from other girls he had met before. But when things didn't work out, he was emotionally down for days. During this tough time, Chinonso was always there for him. Because of what happened, Uchenna decided to stay away from women. He kept himself busy with work and other activities and didn't pay attention to women anymore. One day, one of his male colleagues in the office named Tosin noticed that Uchenna doesn't communicate with their female colleagues like he used to before. Tosin was curious and decided to ask Uchenna about it. Uchenna, have you noticed that you don't talk to the ladies in the office anymore? Tosin asked one afternoon. Uchenna sighed. Yes, I have noticed. I just don't feel like talking to them. Tosin frowned. But why? You used to be so friendly. Uchenna took a deep breath and decided to open up. It's because of what happened with Cynthia. I thought she was different, but she broke my heart. Now, I just want to focus on my work. Tosin nodded, understanding his friend's pain. I get it, but not all women are the same. Maybe you haven't been lucky to find a good one among the bad ones. Uchenna looked at Tosin, interested in what he was saying. So, what do you think I should do? Tosin had an idea. Why don't you visit your village and check if you will see a nice girl? You might find a good person from there. That night, Uchenna was worried about the discussion he had with Tosin. He couldn't stop thinking about it. The following day, he decided to talk to Chinonso about it. Chinonso, I need to talk to you about something, Uchenna said as they were having lunch together. Sure, what is on your mind? Chinonso asked. Tosin, my colleague in the office, suggested I should visit my village. He thinks I might find a good person from there, Uchenna explained. Chinonso looked surprised. Are you serious? Do you really want to do that? Yes, I do. I think it's worth a try, Uchenna replied. Chinonso shook his head, looking concerned. But you like classy girls. How will you cope with a village girl? Uchenna insisted. I know I like classy girls, but maybe Tosin is right. I can't keep avoiding women forever. I need to try something different. Chinonso signed. Okay, if you think it's the right thing to do, then go ahead. Just be careful. Uchenna nodded. I will, thank you, Chinonso. Chinonso patted Uchenna on the back. No problem, my friend. I just want you to be happy. With that decision made, Uchenna felt a mix of worry and hope. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was willing to give it a try. Maybe, just maybe, he would find a happiness he was looking for in the village. Days turned into weeks. Uchenna decided to travel to his village in search of a good woman. First, he stopped at a popular bushmeat junction in the area to eat some fresh bushmeat and drink fresh palm wine. The aroma of the roasting meat filled the air, making the mouth water. He sat at a wooden chair, watching the cook skillfully turning the meat over the fire. Ah, this is the life, Uchenna thought to himself as he took a big bite of the tender meat. After finishing his meal and enjoying the sweet taste of the palm wine, he felt refreshed and ready for the journey ahead. Uchenna drove down to the dusty road to his house. As he approached, he noticed a lady walking majestically with an empty tray on her head. He slowed down and stopped the car to approach the lady. Hello, fine lady, Uchenna called out. The lady turned around to see who was calling her from behind. Uchenna's eyes widened with surprise. Adana, he shouted. Uchenna, Adana shouted back, equally surprised. They ran toward each other and embraced tightly. Is this really you? Adana asked, her eyes sparkling with joy. Where have you been? I have searched for you and asked our friends about you, but no one knows your whereabouts. Uchenna smiled warmly. You know I am a man, and a lot of responsibilities await. After our secondary school, I left this village to better my life, and that of my family members. Now, I work in an oil company in Port Harcourt. Adana's eyes widened with admiration. Wow, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And what about you? Uchenna asked, curious to know how she had been. I sell fruits and vegetables in the market. Adana replied with a shy smile. They walked together, chatting and catching up with old times. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the village. Uchenna felt a warmth in his heart, happy to see his old friend again. After a long discussion, Uchenna decided to share his reason for coming to the village. Adana, I came to this village to see if I can find a good woman to marry. Adana's heart skipped a beat. She had been looking for a way to leave the village and start a new life in the city. She had no parents nor siblings left and felt very lonely. Uchenna, she said softly, I have been hoping for a chance to leave this village and start a new life. I want to go to the city and have a good life. Uchenna looked at her with understanding eyes. Adana, would you consider coming with me to the city? We can start a new life together. Adana's eyes filled with tears of joy. Yes, Uchenna, I would love to. Thank you so much for giving me this chance. They spent the rest of the evening making plans for the journey to the city. Uchenna promised to take care of her and help her settle into her new life. Adana felt a sense of hope and excitement she had not had in a long time. As the moon rose high in the sky, they bid each other good night. Uchenna drove back to his house, his heart full of anticipation for the future. Adana walked home with a smile on her face, knowing that her life was about to change for better. The next day, Uchenna and Adana packed their things and prepared for the journey to Port Harcourt. The villagers gathered to bid them farewell, wishing them good luck and happiness. Uchenna and Adana waved goodbye, promising to visit the village soon. As they drove away, Uchenna glanced at Adana and smiled. This is the start of a new adventure for us. Adana nodded, her eyes shining with hope. Yes, Uchenna, thank you for everything. And so, they began their journey to the city, ready to face whatever challenges and joy awaited them. When they got back to the city, Adana's eyes were full of shock. She had never seen a luxury apartment all her life before. The beautiful interiors made her feel like she was in heaven. Uchenna took her around the house, showing her the rooms, the kitchen, the bathroom, and how to use most of the things in the house. It was an entirely a new life for Adana. Oh my goodness, Adana exclaimed, eyes wide with wonder. This place is so beautiful, Uchenna. Uchenna smiled proudly. I'm glad you like it, Adana. Now, let me show you how to use everything. Adana nodded eagerly as Uchenna explained how to use the appliances in the kitchen, how to turn on the shower, and even how to operate the television. She was a quick learner, but some things were still very new to her. Every day, Adana made sure the entire house was neat and well arranged. She welcomed Uchenna warmly whenever he came back from work, greeting him with a smile. Welcome back, Uchenna. How was your day? She would say, her face lighting up with joy. It was good, Adana, thank you, Uchenna would reply. Appreciating her kindness, Adana also cooked delicious village food for Uchenna. He loved her cooking, but sometimes the way she did things made him a bit annoyed. One evening, Uchenna sighed as he sat down to eat. Adana, you can't leave the pot on the stove without covering it. It's not safe. Adana looked down, feeling embarrassed. I'm sorry, Uchenna. I didn't know. It's okay, Uchenna said, trying to be patient. You just need to be more careful. Even though Adana tried her best, she still needs to be coached on many things. Uchenna often lost his patience and called her a village girl. Why do you keep doing things like this, Adana? You are so clueless sometimes, he would say, shaking his head. Adana felt hot, but she didn't want to argue. I'm trying, Uchenna. Please be patient with me. One day, Uchenna invited his friend Chinonso to the house. Adana greeted them with a smile, even though she was busy making food for them in the kitchen. Hello, Chinonso. Welcome, Adana said cheerfully. Hello, Adana, Chinonso replied, smiling back. It's good to see you. Both men sat at the dining table, waiting for the meal to be served. Adana carried a pot of soup and a bowl of eba to the dining table to dish out the food. Smells delicious, Chinonso said, sniffing the air. Thank you, Adana replied, pleased with the compliment. After dishing Uchenna's food into his plate, Adana used her tongue to lick the spoon before using the same spoon to dish out food for Chinonso. Uchenna's face turned red with anger. Adana, what are you doing? Uchenna shouted, standing up. Adana looked confused. What do you mean, Uchenna? You don't lick the spoon and then use it to serve someone else, Uchenna exclaimed. It's not proper. Chinonso frowned and asked Uchenna, are you complaining? What do you expect when you went for a local village girl? Uchenna sighed deeply, feeling frustrated and embarrassed. I just thought she would learn by now. Adana's eye filled with tears. I'm so sorry, Uchenna. I didn't mean to upset you. Both Uchenna and Chinonso were too angry to eat. They left the dining table, leaving the food there. Adana stood there, feeling sad and unsure of what to do. She wanted to make Uchenna happy, but she didn't know how to fit into his world. I will try harder, Adana whispered to herself, determined to learn and improve. Even though things were difficult, Adana knew she had to be strong and keep trying. She believed that one day, Uchenna would see how much she cared and appreciate all her efforts. After the incident that day, Uchenna started behaving strangely toward Adana. Although Adana apologized for embarrassing him in front of his friend Chinonso, promising it would never happen again, Uchenna's mind was no longer where she was. She just didn't fit into the kind of lady he usually went for. Uchenna, what have I done this time? Adana asked one morning, her voice trembling. You no longer give me time or attention. This house is becoming so boring to me. Please don't send me back to the village. Uchenna sighed and left the house, leaving Adana sitting on the couch, looking frustrated. She felt tears welling up in her eyes, but fought to keep them back. She don't want to cry again. A few hours later, Uchenna returned with a beautiful and classy lady named Tracy and his friend Chinonso. Tracy glanced at Adana and smirked. I guess she is the local girl you told me about, Tracy said. Adana felt a sharp pain in her chest. She was hot and embarrassed. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but she quickly wiped them away. Uchenna noticed her tears but didn't do anything. Instead, he turned to her and said, Adana, carry Tracy's bag inside the room. As Adana picked up Tracy's bag, Chinonso pulled Uchenna aside. So you didn't tell Adana you are bringing another woman to your house? This is very bad, Uchenna. I'm not part of this plan. I'm going home. Chinonso turned and left, leaving Uchenna standing there, looking slightly annoyed. Tracy walked over to Uchenna and put her arm around his waist. Don't worry about him, she said. Let's go inside. Inside the house, Adana was busy cooking dinner. She could hear Uchenna and Tracy laughing and talking in the living room. It felt like a knife was twisting in her heart, but she kept working, trying to ignore the pain. After dinner, Adana served the food and sat in the kitchen, eating alone. She could hear Tracy praising the meal. This is delicious, Tracy said. Uchenna, you should have told me you have such a good cook at home. Uchenna laughed. Well, she's good for something. Adana felt another pang of hurt. She finished her meal quickly and cleared the table, washing the dishes and tidying up the kitchen. She could hear Uchenna and Tracy talking about their plans for the next day, and it made her feel even more lonely. The next morning, Tracy handed Adana a long list of errands. I need you to get all these items for me, she said, not even looking up from her phone, and make sure it's done quickly. Adana nodded, took the list and left the house. As she stepped out of their gate, she saw a young man walking towards her path. Hello, young lady. Please, I'm looking for number 14 in this estate. And Adana told him, I don't know anywhere, sir. I'm new here. She spent the whole day running around the town, buying everything Tracy needed. When she returned, feeling exhausted, Tracy barely acknowledged her. Put them in my room, Tracy said, and hurry up. Uchenna and I are going out for a dinner, and I need to get ready. Adana did as she was told. She put away all the things she bought and returned to the living room to see Uchenna and Tracy dressed up and ready to go. Don't wait up, Uchenna said coldly as they walked out of the door. Adana sat down on the couch, feeling more alone than ever. She missed the good time she had with Uchenna and wondered how long she could endure this treatment. Tears streamed down her face, and she cried softly. She thought about Chinonso's words. He had been right. Uchenna's behavior was very bad. But what could she do? She had no place to go. All she could do was to hope that one day Uchenna would see her worth and treat her with love and respect she deserved. As the days passed, Uchenna and Tracy continued to treat Adana like a maid. She cooked, cleaned and ran errands, all without a word of thanks. The house that had once been her refuge now felt like a prison. But despite everything, she held on to a glimmer of hope that things would change. One evening, as Adana was serving dinner, she overheard Uchenna and Tracy talking about their future. Maybe we should think about getting married, Tracy said casually. Adana's heart sank. She couldn't bear the thought of Uchenna marrying Tracy. She quietly left the room and went to the kitchen, her mind racing. She had to find a way to change Uchenna's mind. She couldn't give up now. She wiped her tears, took a deep breath, and decided she would keep trying, no matter how hard it got. She wouldn't give up on Uchenna. She believed that one day he would see her for who she truly was and would realize that she was the one who loved him the most.